Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, we go to the January 6th case. Judge Tanya Chutkan. Today, which is Tuesday, September 24th. I record this at 7:30 Pacific time in the evening. She rebuffed a request from the former president and his legal team asking for a delay in filings in the case. Basically, Trump and his team have been asking her to reconsider the schedule, allowing them to kick off discussion of the immunity issue several months from now in unrelated filings. Quote from Judge Chutkan: "For the second time in a week, defendant urges reconsideration of the current pretrial schedule in a brief intended to respond to a separate issue and without actually filing a motion to that effect." In other words, it's like you're ordering, basically, when he has to respond to something completely unrelated, they start off by saying, you need to delay this case. It's like, no, this isn't the proper document for you to argue that. You need to file a document to do that. You don't get to just piggyback it on here because it happens to be going in front of my eyeballs. Now, there is a way you do things in a court of law. And apparently, Trump forces his lawyers to, get rid of convention, because Trump never follows convention. Continuing, the court has already addressed the scheduling objections the defendant raised when he was given an opportunity to do so. In that same order, Judge Chutkan granted Jack Smith's request to file a 180-page opening brief on how to address the immunity issues in the case. And that, of course, caused Trump attorneys to say it's going to be a 180-page false hit piece. The requested 180-page brief would be tantamount to a premature and improper special counsel report. It's your Supreme Court that gave you wild immunity protections and even said that you're going to have to take individual things and parse them out to see if they qualify for immunity or not. The only way for you to do that is have a hearing on the evidence. The only way the evidence is going to go in there is if Jack Smith files that evidence in a brief, and then you hold a hearing on it. You don't get to have your cake and eat it too, as much as you might want to. So, Judge Chutkan is not suffering his foolishness even a little bit. So let's take a look at the energy around this January 6th case with her latest ruling, and then we'll take it from there, okay? Entertainment purposes only. Again, this is meant for entertainment purposes only, but let's see what type of insights we might be able to get by asking the question, throwing some tarot cards, and interpreting the story. Foundation of the reading is the Eight of Swords. Restrictions, confinement, voluntary restrictions. Crossed with the Seven of Swords, trying to get away with something, stealing and theft. And the Page of Wands, messaging about actions. To me, what this is saying is Trump is trying to tie up the court systems yet again, in this case with Judge Chutkan, because he doesn't want any of this information coming out. He wants it held, gagged, and hostaged prior to the election. He does not want the voters to know about this. And basically, he will do anything he can to help kick this thing down the road. This is not a sincere adventure that is going on here. In the past, you got the King of Pentacles. It's not Trump the businessman. In some ways, it's indicative of the judicial system where wealthy people have a different set of rules that are applied to them. But this is also kind of like the Supreme Court saying, presidents are kings and they have, boundless amounts of immunity. So, again, as I said in the intro, you have to go through the evidence to figure out what he's immune for and not, or what he's not immune to. Current situation is the Strength card. And this is why you have to have the hearings. You have to tease out what is and what isn't allowed to be prosecuted. Overarching energy is the World card. In some ways, by going through this hearing process, you actually present the case that you haven't been able to bring in front of a jury. And so it's kind of this is your catch-22, double-edged sword. This case would have already been started in August if it were it not for the Supreme Court. Hell, it would have started earlier. They've been delayed for several months because of the Supreme Court. But you know what? This brings the Supreme Court made their ruling, and now you got to figure out how to get around this. And instead of having a jury trial, what you're going to have now is a hearing. Lesson to be learned is the Knight of Swords. She's not, he'll keep trying to get her to stop. She's not going to stop. This isn't going to stop. It's going to move forward, and it's going to move forward at speed. And there's going to be a lot of evidence, big evidence. A lot of things of, some big bombshells are going to come out of this filing. He's had his opportunities to challenge this. Lord knows he's taken advantage of all of them to delay. But isn't it ironic that, he's delayed this so much that the hearing, and he's gotten things working his way, that now there's going to be a hearing right before the election. They want to stop that hearing because obviously they think it's going to be prejudicial to the voters. But Donald Trump's going to be out there having a press conference every day with his accordion of hypnotic falsehoods to, try and spin whatever it is that's coming out of the courts. Because, outside the courtroom, he's not under oath. Not that he would be in the courtroom when they're doing the hearing, but you know what? Maybe he'll be required to be there. This is a criminal issue, not a civil issue. Remember, what you say on the steps probably will be held against you. So, we all know that Trump can't resist speaking in front of a crowd. All right, that Ace of Pentacles. What will be the impact of the evidence that's revealed in Jack Smith's 180-page filing? Will there be, and I know that there's going to be, he convened a new grand jury, and there's new evidence and testimonies that are coming out. How is this going to impact people as it comes out? Ace of Wands, just like the Ace of Coins, we've got the Ace of Wands. There's going to be a lot of energy. It's going to be a big push here. Crossed with nostalgia, Six of Cups. I think what we're going to find out here, it's not the naivety, is maybe people were naive in what they understood Trump did and what control he had. This is kind of, it's January 6th, so I think this is showing the powerful role he played with people that were very trusting of him. Because that essentially is what the insurrection was. Underneath it is the Queen of Cups. There's information that's going to be revealed on this one. Also, Queen of Cups is about controlling your emotions or letting your emotions out. Emotional maturity as well. The passions of the crowd come to mind. Maybe even the manipulation. The planning that was I think what you're going to get here is the planning leading up that would emotionally control those people who would be most trusting of Donald Trump. That led to the riot, the insurrection. In the past, you got the Two of Wands. How is this going to impact it? This is going to show the planning that went in there. With there's going to be timelines that are included with this. Trump was involved in the planning. Trump and his lieutenants involved in the planning and the actions that they took. Again, there's going to be a timeline spelling all this out and simplifying it so that people understand what's going on. Overarching energy is the Queen of Wands. Over this is Judge Chutkan looking at the evidence. Remember, this is a hearing, so she's supposed to be ruling on the evidence as it comes out, trying to decide what is what is covered by presidential immunity and what isn't. The lesson to be learned is the Empress. The first thought that came to mind is the plans that were hatched. This is also, Judge Chutkan having to rule on things. But I'm going to go with the plans that are hatched. With Trump and his minions, with their actions, they've hatched schemes. They were trying to grow something new, a different type of America, as it were. Outcome is the Seven of Swords, and they're going to show how they tried to steal the election. The various ways, think of the Empress as the big plots, the big subplots here, whether it's the fake electors, the lawsuits in the court, trying to get Georgia to recount votes or just throw the election, the pressure campaign in Arizona, the come out to the ellipse on January 6th will be wild. Sitting there, dereliction of duty, just sitting there watching the television. This is kind of why when I said sitting there watching the television, that was ringing true. They're going to find how Trump was being lazy and entitled, watching all this, acting like a queen instead of a president, and the stuff that he got on with this. This evidence that Jack Smith is going to share is going to be devastating. For the folks watching this channel, probably not so much, because you probably already feel that Trump played a big role in January 6th. He's not some innocent bystander in this, and probably nothing that they could tell you would shock you. You could probably imagine worse things that they will reveal. But for other people who've been oblivious to this, the ones that don't pay attention to politics, and it's getting close to time to vote, and now they're starting to pay attention. Less than, we got 40 something days here, 42 days to the election as I record this. They're going to start paying attention in the next week or two, and probably in the next few weeks this hearing is going to happen. And all this information is going to come out, and it's going to be covered by some news agencies anyways. And, if it's a big enough story, they have to cover it because it's going to get eyeballs. And that makes you money. How will undecided voters take the information from this hearing? How is it going to impact the undecided voter? I realize it's like, how can there possibly be? Again, there's people who just live their lives and they're not paying attention to anything in the news. Well, it's going to be agonizing. Like, oh my God, I had no idea. In some ways it's a little bit embarrassing as they're waking up from a nightmare or waking up to a nightmare. Like, I had no idea it was that bad. Tower card, the Hillbilly Brawl card, Ace of Swords, the Empress. Okay, there's just kind of the face palming of the entitlement of the Empress here, of Trump sitting back and not paying attention, just sitting back and watching the fun and doing nothing. Dereliction of duty, his supreme dereliction of duty during the riot. He had the ability to stop it. He chose not to. He chose to let it keep going on, burn it all down, hang Mike Pence, and hours of people pleading for him to do something while he sat and did nothing. I think that's going to be the take-home point, the biggest take-home point of the filing. It's going to reiterate again, not only the planning that went into it, but the complete dereliction of duty at the end of it. You can make some arguments. It could be that the planning gets covered by some of the presidential immunity, that they can't prosecute him for that. But it paints the story. Now, I think that even the way the Supreme Court ruled, you couldn't even use that to help produce intent. So I think all they could do is a timeline and state facts. I'm not sure how that's going to work. But long and short of it, what's going to come out of this. Again, it's a hearing, so they can do the whole thing, and then she can rule that, well, yeah, this sets up the story, but that's covered under presidential immunity, so I can't use it in the case. That sort of thing. But it's going to be the testimony that he was a derelict in his duties. That's going to cause a lot of people to say that he's not fit to be president of this country again. And that's how it's going to impact it. At least that's how I'm reading the cards now. So this hearing is going to be enlightening, yes, illuminating to certain people that maybe aren't paying attention. And you know what? That's fine. We don't need a huge percentage. We just need a few percent of people that might have been leaning to Trump to now lean towards Harris. You know, a couple percentage points here and there makes a huge difference. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. I hope you found this reading insightful. It is for entertainment purposes only, and I'll catch you on the next reading. Take care.